And that's something that I gave up, and I got that. I knew that it was going to make things more difficult. Like, who wants to bring someone home when your mom's home, you know? I'm 38 years old, that's weird. That's a freedom that Alice had that I didn't have. And I just feel like that needs to be acknowledged, that I wasn't the one that had like this amazing life and I could go anywhere and do anything, and it was this sweet deal that I had. That's not the reality at all.
Well, so I'm hearing that you made a lot of sacrifices, and you want
Yeah.
them to be acknowledged, because Alice may have made financial and working sacrifices, and you also want her to hear that you made a lot of personal sacrifices too, for your career, for your friends. You devoted all your time to your mother at the loss of other things that were also important to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and it's hard, right? Like, she's gone, and I don't want it to sound like, you know, I thought it was a mistake. Like, I'll never think that having done this was a mistake, but it is hurtful to hear it be characterized as something that was easy, or like just a decision that was also convenient for me to make, or, you know, something where it sounds like Alice's characterization, I sound like, you know, some hippie freeloader who was like just hanging out with her mom for 5 years, and that's, you know, that's not true. That's not what was happening. Like, it was a heavy thing that I was doing.
Yeah. Well, it sounded like Alice really envied a bit the amount of time you got to spend with your mother. And at the same time, well, you did get a lot of that time. It wasn't all roses. You had to really deal with a lot of sad things that were really hard to watch your mother go through and deteriorate. And it was,
Yeah.
it sounds really, really difficult.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was incredibly painful. I mean, there were times that were great, you know, I mean, times that we got to spend together. I thought of that as sort of like the payback for all the times that were really hard and really ugly, where you were doing stuff to and for your mom that no one should have to do.
So it sounds like you did get to have some nice moments with her.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Alice was right. Like, she was a pretty crotchety woman, so, you know, full-time caretaking for a woman who doesn't want you to take care of her is a little problematic sometimes.
But she also didn't have to do it alone, because I offered and offered and offered, and she refused.
No way. That's not even.
I
No.
offered a lot, Alice, and you didn't.
Very shortly, you're gonna start talking with each other, but let's just finish with Ella first.
Yeah.
I did hear you say some more important things, and one in particular that you started with was that word flighty really was hurtful to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Like, it's been hard to not have consistent work since I got my master's, and I have tried hard. Social work is a really hard field to remain consistently employed in. And so it's hard to think like all of those times where I was struggling and like, I don't have a 401k and I don't have good job security, and I was heartbroken when I had to leave my clients. Like, that to my sister, that whole time that I was struggling before I moved in with my mom, it was like me making the choice to go from job to job to job, as opposed to like the devastation of you go to work and you find out that there's no money, and like you have to figure out how you're gonna deal with that and where you can work next, and you know what grants are gonna come through. Like, yeah, that's hugely hurtful to me.
So you picked a field of something that you love, and at the same time is really challenging to find steady work in, and so you don't have that stability you might have. And so it sounds like sometimes, you know, it would be nice to have the stability that Alice does.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Alice works hard, but she's worked at the same place for like, what is it now, like 15 years, you know? Like, she's got seniority,
Long time.
She's got a lot of steadiness, she and Barb can plan a lot of things, you know? Like, I don't have that ability. Like, I can't see anything in the social work field where I would be able to work somewhere, the same place for 15 or 20 years. Like, it's just not possible during the work that I do.
It must be really stressful career-wise to not kind of know what's coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, thing now is like, what am I gonna put on the resume? You know, like helped my mom die, 5 years. Like I don't have, you know, I'm gonna have to go back, and I got that, and I knew when I moved in that there was gonna be this point. Like we knew that our mom wasn't gonna live forever, but it's hard to go back into the job market as it is now and feel like, you know, I mean, if Alice left her job now, like she'd be able to put amazing things on her resume. And I, for the last 5 years, I can't go out into the world and present something that looks as good as my sister looks on paper, even though I think what I've been doing is important, you know, it's not in our general society. Like, fine, Alice, I mean, Alice is probably right in that, like, the stuff with the gutters was definitely a mistake. Like, you know, I wasn't paying attention. I think the thing that's true is, like, the balancing of caretaking our mom and caretaking the house, like, our mom was always more important. So there was a bunch of stuff that, like, you know, I would try to do, but if my mom has some sort of medical emergency, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm cleaning the gutters. I'll like pick you up from the floor when I'm done. You know, I mean, things stop and start because that's the nature of taking care of someone who's sick and needs around the clock care. So like to a point, I will say, yeah, there's some specific things that Alice covered, which she and Barb let me know at the time I could have done a much better job of. And I think there's a lot of it that they blame me for that was going to happen to the house regardless.
Brad and I were talking during the break, and it dawned on us that you are sisters, and we don't know much about your relationship as sisters beyond this conflict and the past 5 years and how you've gone forth and taken care of your mother. So we were hoping that you could enlighten us a little bit more about your relationship with each other, perhaps before this particular conflict started. So we'd like to hear about that. Would one of you like to begin? Ella?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right, when you're fighting with someone to think about how you used to get along.
True.
But yeah, I mean, you know, what I said in the beginning is true. We've always been really close, you know. I mean, she's my older sister, so she, you know, she took care of me a lot when I was growing up. She always was, you know, advocating for me, and she's been, you know, she's been supportive of my accomplishments. You know, she was there when I graduated from my undergrad and with my master's, and I, you know, I mean, I know that she, you know, she hasn't always had it super easy, so I've tried to be supportive of her too, you know, especially, you know, when other people in our family would say stuff about, you know, her partner and, you know, like not be super accepting of her or whatever. So, you know, we've been close, and the process of trying to, you know, keep mom in her home and all those choices, you know, it was, yeah, I mean, we've been pretty close up until now, I guess is what I would say.
It's really great to have a sister and you had a close relationship with, and it sounds like you really both supported each other at different points in your life. And she was the older sister and looked out for you for you through your whole graduate, and then when she was facing other family members, maybe, I'm not sure what you said, non-approval or difficulties about her partner, you had her back then. So you got to kind of protect each other.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
And she's been an advocate for you from time to time.
Yeah,
in important ways.
Absolutely.
Well, she was, you know, my baby. I mean, my mother brought her home, and that was that. My mother didn't get to raise her, I did. She was mine, and I
That
was
was your
going to
baby.
care for her, yes. No one could do it better. That's how it was growing up. You know, she was a little doll.
That's so sweet.
That's, you know, but we're grown up now.
But, say before 5 years, did you have feelings similar to Ella's about the relationship?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, we've always been very close. I mean, yeah, it's hard. I mean, you know, even when she was caring for my mom, you know, we were close. She gives good care to, you know, she was giving good care to my mom.
Can I ask you two to face toward each other now, and if you would tell Ella that directly? You describe the care that you saw being given to your mom by Ella. Can you turn your chair toward Ella? And Ella, can you turn your chair? A little bit more. Kind of a face-to-face deal here.
It's uncomfortable.
Hi.
Yeah,
It's
we're not,
just really uncomfortable.
not from emotional stock, really.
We don't,
Are you comfortable enough now to tell her what you saw with regard to the kind of care that Ella gave your mother? If you could tell Ella.
well, you know it's hard because it's so fresh.
Yeah, no, I know.
And I know she was not easy at all
You and I both know that.
by any stretch. So, but you did a bang-up job. I mean, I know you had to bathe her and you never drowned her once.
Oh, there were times.
So that's pretty good. No arsenic in her food. No, I mean, you know what I'm getting at. I mean,
No, I know.
You gave good care to her, and you know someday I'm going to be old and decrepit, and hopefully you won't be, and you can give care to me too. But I just, yeah, you did a good job.
Thanks.
You know, I just.
We're kind of at about the halfway point.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at
Yeah.
the clock, and also we've agreed on 2 hours rather than a little bit longer. I was thinking this may be a good time to
Yeah, I
begin
think,
a conversation. And, I was thinking of you begin by telling Alice about the maintenance issue from your perspective, and what it's like to both take care of your mother and to maintain the house, and possibly in retrospect that you could have imagined doing a little better job on that. And if you would both turn your chairs so that you're.
so Brad, I would want to do that. I was thinking maybe we should take our break before then, because I don't want them to, start talking and maybe having a conversation, then we have to say, oh, we should take a break.
Oh, the break.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the break.
Are you,
Good idea. I'm for
Yes?
it. Yes.
okay. Are you good with taking a break right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes? You've shared a lot. You might need to take a moment too.
Yeah. I need to go for a walk.
Yeah.
So let's
When do we need to
take
be back here?
15 minutes. So
Okay.
we'll come back at 7:19. We'll be getting in.